Of all the heroes in Marvel, perhaps none are more interesting to delve into than the tech genius himself, Tony Stark, aka the infamous Invincible Iron Man. Stark, a billionaire savant who has oftentimes teetered on the edge of insanity, was not always a hero. More so aligned with business and creating, Stark found himself fighting for his life after an arms deal gone wrong. Armed with his technology, IQ, and general brilliance, Stark constructed a reactor to keep shrapnel from reaching his heart. While by no means perfect, in fact Stark is known as a jackass, we can't help but root for the troubled rich boy turned hero. For all of his flaws, Iron Man is always on the front lines when it matters. Today, we will review several aspects of Iron Man from Marvel 616 and some alternate realities. With many different suits over the decades, Stark has truly achieved some wild acts as Iron Man. With that in mind, let us get into the many feats of Iron Man, some of his best suits throughout time, and overall by the end of this, you should have a solid standing of Iron Man's lore and his scaling. So without further ado, let's get right into this. As a man tasked with helping lead the Avengers, naturally Iron Man has to pack a punch. However, what has he done throughout the years in terms of attack potency? Well, to find that out, we need to sift through his feats. Please note that his wildest armors and highest end feats and scaling will be saved towards the end. For starters, while he may not always be Hulk or Thor level, he definitely can hold his own against that tier. For example, Stark was able to go toe-to-toe with Taurus, a being who is capable of throwing hands comfortably with Thor. He was also able to engage Terrax and throw hands with him, even yeeting him from the damn solar system. For reference, Terrax is a herald who can hold his own against Thor and Silver Surfer. Iron Man has also gone toe-to-toe with Luke Cage and ragdolled him, a character who has unbreakable skin and has thrown hands with even Hulk and Doctor Doom. In another encounter, we have seen Iron Man able to throw hands for a time with Red Hulk. This Hulk was comfortable against normal Hulk and Thor, both beings with universal to multiversal feats pretty easily. For example, Hulk has punched apart a dimension that is beyond time and space, and was called immeasurable in power by a being who absorbed a universe. While Thor has moved the World Tree, an archetypal collection of multiple realms and universes, including abstract beings. And Thor has also harmed Galactus, who is an universal constant at his lowest. Iron Man has also fought against the embodiment of man's evil by himself and held his own when this same being was considered an Avengers level threat. In a Marvel What If, Iron Man has even held his own against the Void temporarily, which is literally just the Void escaped fully. This is wild because Hulk could not even temporarily hold off a weaker version of the Void. Iron Man was also able to blitz and rock Phoenix for Cyclops, a certified team buster that was able to harm Doctor Doom. He has also shown that he can dish out attacks on multiple fronts, taking on a collective X-Men unit that is capable of handling Dark Phoenix type threats. Dark Phoenix and beings of that nature like Apocalypse can battle on every plane of existence, at worst being infinite dimensional. Now hold up, I'm not saying that Iron Man's regular attack potency is high hyperversal or outerversal, it is at least way stronger than most people assume. Stark has only developed stronger suits over time, and seeing him brawl with powerhouses like Red Hulk and other Herald tiers only reaffirms this. For a final reassurance, even a much older Iron Man suit could withstand an all-out power surge from Silver Surfer, a being whose raw power is compared to undoing the universe and lowball this Galaxy Plus. And he's also made a suit that could literally withstand Thor's power, so yeah, I say Solar System to Galaxy Plus levels is very, very easily, commendable for him. And you could argue even higher, like Universal, if you truly want to believe that he can deal with those kind of threats. A category that I think people tend to overlook for Iron Man is his speed. Iron Man, even since the 60s and 70s, has been able to keep up with Herald tiers. This would include beings like the Silver Surfer, a character who is so fast that he can time travel through pure speed alone. Goku, eat your heart out. On top of this, Iron Man was also reacted to Thor, who even early on could travel past the infinite speed that is thought. For reference, we know the speed of thought can instantly travel from beyond time and space in Marvel. With his earlier suits having such insane feats, including the likes of keeping up with and even defeating the Silver Surfer, it should be no shock that future suits have arguably better speed feats. Iron Man has casually blitzed Phoenix and Cyclops when in just space could react to piss Wolverine, who has blitzed Thor before, and he's also reacted to Nimrod, who can blitz entire contingencies of X-Men easily. He's also blitzed Apocalypse, who has fought multiple Herald tiers and casually tossed around young Thor. Iron Man has also pretty easily blitzed Red Hulk and She-Hulk, both who scale in speed to Hulk and Thor for combat speed. His processing speeds are absolute insanity as well, given that he reacted to Dark Celestials and even the Phoenix Force itself. Still, this should not shock you as Tony Stark has quite the reputation for being fast. And hell, even Sentry himself had to commend and praise Iron Man for having insane speed. who has literally blitzed Thor before. And it does make sense that he is this fast, as Iron Man has to be able to strategize for the Avengers, and that would be hard to do if he gets blitzed. For other examples, he has kept up with Doctor Doom, who can react to the Silver Surfer and even Celestials. He has outright blitzed Terax, a herald himself, and he has kept up with the embodiment of human evil itself, which could battle the Avengers. The point is, do not sleep on Iron Man's speed, which should easily be massively faster than light to be safe. But if you want to do an extreme highball, you could argue that he has immeasurable speed, which means that he has movement beyond linear time, given that he has literally fought Herald Tiers and other characters of that nature. So yeah, you could definitely argue that he is that fast, but to be safe, massively faster than light should be very commendable for him. Alright, so we have seen that obviously Tony Stark can whip up some tech to throw hands with virtually anyone, but what is his durability looking like? This is an interesting category because it is multi-layered for Iron Man. For one, obviously in base, Tony is just a human, but in his armor and with his shields, this is a different ballgame. So just what can Iron Man endure and withstand? Like I had mentioned earlier in prior sections, Iron Man has literally built suits to withstand hits from Herald Tiers, like the full release of Silver Surfer's latent power. He has also withstood beatings from an angered Thor, who was pissed that Iron Man was telling him what to do about New Asgard. And this same Thor can battle it out with Sentry, someone who is called a potential doomsday for creation and power by Doctor Strange himself, who has dealt with multiversal, hyperversal, and outerversal threats in the past. Iron Man has taken hits from Thanos, a goon himself that has laughed off hits from Thor with the Power Stone, and one-shot the Thing with a single blast, who can withstand brawls with the Hulk with no damage. Iron Man has also brawled with Taurus and his suit was fine, and this same Taurus managed to press Thor. Even his early armors were able to withstand hits from Namor, who could literally brawl it out with Hulk back in the day. He has also taken hits from a hallucinating Thor, and we could argue that this means that Thor was not holding back. The shields of Iron Man are legendary and have shown to withstand some wild exchanges throughout time. Even at just 2% power, the shields of Iron Man have withstood multiple nukes without a scratch. Iron Man has also produced shields that Apocalypse could not shatter, the same Apocalypse that can ragdoll Hulk and nearly kill Thor with a literal backhand. He has taken hits from the Hulkbuster, which is a Team Buster worthy and is a massive powerhouse of a suit designed with the intention of overpowering or at least contending with a raging Hulk. He has taken hits from the Sentry, who easily scales through Herald Tiers and fights the Void on a regular basis. His shields are super versatile as well, not just stopping conventional damage, but also being able to block arcane power. He can survive hits from a Juggernaut amped Colossus, aka a Sidorak amped Colossus, who is easily Herald Tier and at bare minimum rivals Juggernaut, who has battled against World War Hulk before. He's also blocked blasts from Emma Frost with half of the Phoenix Force, which as I mentioned before is at worst a high hyperversal, infinite dimensional threat. The point is, Iron Man's durability at least scales to his attack potency, but could arguably be even higher. So, solar system to galaxy to arguably universal attacks cannot kill him. And we're gonna get deeper into this, but somehow Tony has to program suits capable of contending with and splitting the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force is an archetypal source of power, capable of burning creation to bitter ash. It is beyond time, space, and dimensions. Yes, Stark could calculate it and determine how to fight it. How the f*** do you do that? Finally, for wild intellectual moments, can we please discuss the elephant in the room? The big-ass celestial hunting tech? That is right, confronted with the task of facing the final host to the Celestials, the archetypal builders of the cosmos, what did Tony do? What did Tony think to do against beings that scale beyond the logic and mathematics of mankind? He made a suit, and proceeded to throw f***ing hands with the Celestial Killers themselves. That is absolute madness. Okay, so this is the final section before we get to the juicy conclusion, and it is made to celebrate the higher end scaling for Iron Man, including his best feats and what he has pulled off in his many different suits. While hyperversal and outerversal and higher metas are so cool to see attached to characters, I feel like we rarely get to see Tony Stark receive that kind of love, or wank if you really want to think about it that way. But without further ado, let's explore the higher end Iron Man scaling. So let's talk about the Godkiller Mark II and its feats. This suit is important because of what it pulled off in the war against the Dark Celestials. You see, Tony was tasked with constructing a massive mech powerful enough to contend with and go toe-to-toe with the Dark Celestials momentarily. For an indication of how strong these Celestials were, we need to get into how they scale. As I have mentioned before in other videos, Kubrick has mentioned before how his power was absolute to the scale of time and space conceptually. That is, he could warp time and space and even the multiverse to his whim. At worst, he is infinite fourth to fifth dimensional. This is important because Kubrick says that even the weakest of Celestials transcend him to the point of irrelevancy due to this thing called levels of infinity. And this is crazy because these Celestials are actually just mere fodder to the rest of the race, with even no-name fodder Celestials having an argument for Outerversal as they help architect and govern the infinite dimensions of the multiverse and the infinite multiverses themselves. And the named Celestials have a hierarchy as well. At this point, you can easily have these guys at low Outerversal at worst. This is important because the higher Celestials were absolutely slaughtered by the Dark Celestials, and these same overpowered as Dark Celestials legit had to slug it out with Iron Man in his new suit. Now, I'm not saying that Iron Man is on the level of Celestials, I am saying that he can at least contend with them, which is something that many characters are not able to do. But the fun does not stop there. You thought I was gonna skip over the chance to scale the Phoenix Buster. The Phoenix Buster as a concept is arguably the wildest scaling out there for Iron Man. For this absurd power, we need to look at the Phoenix Force itself. This archetypal force existed before creation was even a concept, beyond all dimensions and forms of existence. As a fundamental force, the Phoenix Force has helped burn and recreate endless multiverses. No one in 616 has actually seen the real Phoenix, even though they have been able to see the heart of creation itself. Phoenix also had the power to actually kill Pre-Retcon Beyonder, who for shits and giggles brawled with the Celestials for the sake of the multiverse. If you haven't gotten the picture by now, we know the Phoenix in just avatar form can impact the infinite planes of existence mid-battle, while being suppressed. Making a suit in a couple of weeks to throw hands with a power that predates all concepts known and unknown to man is unreal. But Tony Stark did that. Think about it, he made a suit in just weeks with outer-versal capabilities and specs. He is literally better at prep than Odin to a near infinite degree. Now how do we know this? Well, Tony made a suit that could fight celestial killers. And even with eons and eons of prep time, magic and science on his side, Odin couldn't even pierce a regular celestial. Yet Tony could fight even stronger ones. Anyways, we are getting off track here over what Tony has made to actually compete against these characters. But let's specifically talk the numbers. There are trans-infinite numbers and hierarchies in Marvel. That is, think of infinite degrees of infinite stacks of infinite sets of infinity. Sounds like a mind right? Well, in just weeks, Tony Stark can combat beings that make those numbers look infinitesimal. You get it? Tony is the GOAT. So, having explored the intellectual and technological prowess of Mr. Tony Stark, aka the infamous Iron Man, what can we conclude? Well, regardless of race, species, or even dare I say mortality, Iron Man is a superior mind in both creation technology and to an extent, strategy. As a member of the Avengers, Stark is often relied upon to supply both the brains and tech support for the team, which oftentimes leads him to combating superior foes. I think Stark is far more inspirational than given credit for, because I mean, the dude literally has zero powers, zilch, nada. All he has is his insane complex mind, his toughness, and of course, his bank account. The point is, for a scientist, engineer, and businessman turned hero, Stark is wildly impressive. He has combated aliens, gods, and even archetypal powerhouses, and has held his own. Not too shabby for the son of a nerd. Anyways, to wrap this all around, I think his regular suits are easily in the solar system to galaxy ranges, arguably universal going off the higher end scaling I pointed out, and obviously with his best armors and prep time, he can easily reach multiversal to outerversal status, which is just insane for a human. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Do you agree or disagree with my analysis on him? Let me know. I try to be as fair as possible with this character. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed, and I will be doing more Marvel characters in the future, so be on the lookout for that. And I will catch you, thoughties next time. Peace out.